It's Ron Reader Digs the Universe. I'm Ron Reader, and this is Ron Reader Digs the Universe, and tonight, nobody understands economics. Way back in the spring of 1986, I won the regional speech tournament, which was kind of a big deal because it qualified me for the national speech tournament, and it was in the event of domestic extemporaneous speaking. I was 18 and cocky, and I crushed all of my opponents because I drew the topic Reaganomics, and I was just totally all over that shit, being a young conservative as I was at that point. So I won because I commanded superior knowledge. I understood and could explain President Reagan's voodoo economics. But it turned out that Reaganomics really is voodoo economics. You know, bullshit. Trickle down is bullshit, and it always has been, but hey, I was a smart guy. It didn't matter that I was wrong. I got myself and others to believe that I understood economics. My reputation for that didn't last forever, though. My politics eventually turned away from conservatism when I was in college, and I started studying both liberal and left-wing views on economics, which that's all started showing up in my writing when I was a blogger. And something that I learned from that is that when you start pushing left-wing views on money, you face a lot more skepticism than when you're pushing conservative views. So my reputation as an econ guy was shot just because I became a liberal. People no longer assume that I knew what I was talking about with economics. I found that I had to explain a lot more stuff as a liberal than I ever did as a conservative, and for a lot of people the explanations didn't even matter. Left-wing economics just feel wrong to them. You know, there's a polling question lately which the news media keeps reporting on. Who do you trust to do a better job on the economy, Trump or Harris? Trump, since Harris entered the race, has had more than an edge on this particular question. A strong plurality of voters think he's better than Harris on economics. But in recent days, she's been closing the gap, hitting that topic hard in speeches and interviews. Now put aside for a moment the question of which candidate really is better on the economy. Okay, don't do that. It's Harris. She's better for the economy simply because she isn't an agent of chaos and will provide certainty and stability that capitalists need in order to do business. It's Harris. So now we can put that question aside. What we need to ask is what it means that so many voters gave Trump the benefit of the doubt on economics but not Harris. And what does it mean that what amounts to a PR campaign can change this dynamic? It means that Americans don't understand economics, or if they do, they're not thinking about it. Rather, it appears that Americans feel their economics. Trump scored higher on that question simply because he's a billionaire and a Republican, and for no other reason. An old-fashioned advertising blitz upended that. And remember, advertising is about hearts, not minds. I don't really know that Americans think about economics anymore. I mean, sure, some people do, but I'm looking at the overall population here, the numbers, and it really looks to me as though Americans see economic issues in much the same way they see Pepsi versus Coke, or Marvel versus DC or Texas versus Texas A&M. It's all image, all branding, all bullshit. And that is terrifying. I'm Ron Reeder, and this has been Ron Reeder Digs the Universe. Join me, Ron Reeder, again next week for another episode of Ron Reeder Digs the Universe. Okay, so I'm sure you've noticed that I'm wearing a suit today, which I do sometimes for this show, but I've chosen a very specific reason to dress up so nicely this evening. It's so that you'll take me more seriously on the topic of economics, because people that know economics, well, they wear suits. And guess what? It's already working.